till 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, so we've got that. We start hauling at say 7 and we start packing up at 12. So we've got that time to race round, catch our day's pay and then get back in here for sort of 3 o'clock. Because he sells direct to the public, he hasn't got the middleman, so he's getting a lot more money to pay us a lot more, so we don't have to have big needs, and we can still make good money out of it. So, like his sales, like we're coming into winter now, so we're like the summer's really self-sustaining. Like over here, it's smaller boats, smaller gear, and the weather doesn't get as bad, or you just don't go out when the weather's bad.
I became a member. I bought a share in the co-op, probably at least 15 years ago. And then before that I was fishing anyway, but I decided to buy a share in the co-op so I could have somewhere to tie my vessel up. And then 15 years ago the fisheries granted us a licence to sell direct off the boat, and at first one vessel was selling direct to the public, and now we've got about 10. So it really snowballed, and it cut out the middleman, which meant we could make a decent profit considering that everything went up, fuel went up, insurance went up, imported prawns were a worry because they were cheap. So selling the fresh products has been the biggest bonus ever. It's kept everyone viable.
And what about the competition? Is there too many boats selling? Too many people selling off their boats?
I wouldn't think so. Some days you might get a bit of a glut with selling, but the product goes eventually. It doesn't hang around too long.
I'm going to wait till this helicopter goes past. And then I'm going to ask you about the... What's this push pull through? And I'm going to ask you about quotas. Okay. You okay, John? Okay, let's get going. Okay, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Richard, tell me, how does it work with the quotas?
Spanish crab quota, everyone's got their individual quota, and last year it was decided by Queensland Fisheries to cut it by 50%. So it virtually meant your business income would be cut by half. So a lot of the fishermen were very upset. Luckily, I was able to secure some just short-term lease, but a lot of the operators found it very difficult. And the other downside was the price of quota tripled to lease, and also to buy it went from $10 to $30 a kilo overnight. So that meant if you wanted to stay in the fishery, big outlay, and then you don't know what's around the corner for the next following years, if there'll be more cuts or what will happen. So I was fortunate to lease some out, and I made a gamble and I bought a small amount. But it's a gamble, and sometimes you wonder whether it's going to be worthwhile. But at the moment, the crew's happy, the boat's making money, we're selling product direct to the locals. So it's going well at the moment. Hopefully we'll hang in there.
And tell me a little bit about this boat.
Well, this boat's got a lot of history. It was built in 1970 down in South Australia. Used originally as a crayfishing boat from South Australia, owned by a gentleman from Croatia, and its name's Dubrovnik, and I've kept that name. It's a classic name. It's bad luck to change the name of the boat.
Is it?
Everyone asks me, are you from Dubrovnik? Have you been to Dubrovnik? Haven't been there yet.
And when you look at all the boats, this is really like the spring chicken. It's much smaller than all these other boats.
It's the pride of the fleet.
Okay. And how do you think these big guys compete?
Oh, there's always competition. Their main catch is Eastern King prawns, so it's a different fishery altogether, but they've got fairly high overheads with fuel and other expenses like deckhand, crew, insurance.
So what's the benefit for all these boats here and the pride of the fleet?
The main benefit is they've got the option, they can sell direct to the public, so they can get a premium price for their product and sell it fresh straight away. And also it's a magnificent facility here. Like, you tie up to a pontoon, you've got a gangway, you've got fuel, you've got water, you've got electricity. There's no places on the Gold Coast for a fishing boat to tie up except for here, and we get a lot of visiting vessels that are stopping in on their way up and down the coast as well. So it's a very good facility, and it's one which we were fortunate enough to secure in 1970.
Okay. So it's been going since 1970, and what does the future for it hold?
It's a very good question. We really don't know at the moment, because there's been a lot of talk about and meetings about the Spit development plan. We've been recognised in the plan, but we don't know too much detail about it. So there's a lot of ground to cover yet before we actually know where we're going.
And can you tell me a little bit about how the co-op started?
Yeah, well, back in 1970, this was officially open. It wasn't the modern pontoons. We had the timber jetties, and the original fish board was at our southern extremity. The building's still there. It's a corrugated iron building, and we had the whole lease of this land at one stage, and there would have been 20 to 30 vessels here all the time. Okay. And as the years progressed, a lot of fishermen got out of the game, or they went north, and so at the moment we're down to about 15 operators.
And can anybody join?
No, you've got to buy a share of the co-op, and that's governed by the number of berths we've got. So we're limited to the entry for different fishermen.
And more or less, I have to ask you this again. Can you tell me a little people about this co-op, the location? I have to repeat the question.
Yeah, well, when this co-op was actually established in 1970, Main Beach here, this was just a sand track behind us. There was nothing, sand dunes, and you drive to the end and there wasn't even rock. So back then this was very, very undeveloped. And as you can see now, it's between 5-star Sergeant SeaWorld on one side, another Marina Barrage resort on the eastern side. So we're primary estate. It's always been a battle to get a long-term lease. We never end up with nothing else. So it's a constant battle for the fishermen to make sure that they get this.
And what are the benefits of being a member?
Well, for a start, you've got somewhere to tie up, and you've got facilities here, fuel, and then you've got the option of selling your product directly to the consumer. So you don't have to unload or stuff, just straight to the consumer.
What would you, are you for both against both this topic? Also on fishing?
When the quota system was first established in Australia, perhaps some type of based on industry. So the effort I put in, I work out obviously 20 tonnes spent a But over the years now I was left with 6 tonnes. So that's dramatic drop.
How difficult is it finding a good crew and keeping the boats running? I mean, it's a tough business, this.
That's probably the hardest part of surviving in the fishing industry, getting good skipper and crew. They're just not around anymore. And if you do happen to strike it lucky and get someone on board, stick with it. You know, you're pretty very lucky. There's no young people coming through. It's a bit of a worry. The average age of fishermen probably at least 55, possibly 60. So it's a shame that no young recruits coming through. We've got a great industry here, it's all sustainable, we've got regulations. Just no one coming through. I don't think they have certainty of the future.
And can I ask why, as the boat's owner, why would you say
I skipped it for 30 odd years. I had enough, I had medical issues actually, and I skipped it. I thought I'll stick to the processing and selling, which I'll get a lot of now.
And in your wildest dreams, 40 years ago, if many people, can you imagine?
No way, I started off as a deckhand on working in multiple fisheries on the east coast of Australia just as a young lad. South coast of New South Wales right up to northern Queensland, and I was just loving it. And then one day I decided to invest in the fishery, which I did. This is my 3rd boat now, and yeah, it's been great. It's been a good journey.
And is it the 3rd boat in your company, or is it, how does it work with buying boats? I mean,
No, it's just the 3rd boat I'm the owner operator of.
okay. So what do you sell them?
Yeah, well, the first boat I had was a wooden one, very slow, and then I upgraded to a new one. And this 3rd one is, like I said before, it's a classic one from the old days, and it's pretty hard to beat. Chili crab boathouse style. Fresh spanner crab straight on the boat. Let's get to it. First of all, got to remove the carapace. Simple. break it, remove it. Remove the gills. Tail. And now we can section our crab appropriately. What I meat inside a spinner crab. Sweet, succulent, white flesh.
Now you've won some awards.
Yes, this crab has won the National Award for category from the sea for the Delicious Produce Awards last year. Okay, that looks pretty well done, I think. That's ready to be cooked in the wok.
Okay, let's shoot them.
Shall we prepare that wok?
Yep.
Just got to wash my hands.
So what sauces are you putting in?
Oyster sauce, chili, garlic and shallots. It's quite a simple one, but very tasty. Crab and garlic first for about 6 minutes. See how it goes a deep orange colour. Give it a bit more heat.
So it's changing colour.
Deeper, just a magnificent orange. And that flesh will go a beautiful, perfect white.
How deep were these crabs caught at?
These are fairly deep. They come out from about 60 metres of water, straight off the Gold Coast.
Oh, that's starting to smell good. Can you describe the smell?
Oh, mate, garlicky crab, sizzling, unbelievable.
Well, it looks fantastic.
We'll just keep sauteing that until the crab meat goes white. And then we'll add our chili, oyster sauce, maybe a little bit of water, then put a lid on it and steam it for 4 minutes.
with this look?
Well, because it's so tasty, you can serve it pretty well with something as simple as steamed rice.
And generally, how many crabs per person do you recommend?
Well, a big one like this, probably half a crab. Or if you really like them, whole crab. Looking in good shape. We'll add our oyster sauce. Just for the single crab, probably around 2 tablespoons. Our chilli. These are fresh bird's eye chillies. Straight out of the garden. See how the mix is coating the crab? That's what we like. These are just bird's eye chilies out of the garden. They're nice, got a nice bite. Probably 3 will be sufficient for that amount of crab. But suit yourself hotter or keep it mild. Just roughly chop them. You don't have to be too pedantic. Chili goes right through the whole dish. There we go. That should give it a bit of a bite. Okay. Next. Today we're going to do our spanner crabs, chili, boathouse style. It's a great dish, super simple but extremely tasty. Shall we chop them up? Okay, here we go. First of all, remove the carapace, 2 pieces. Clean the gills on the side. And there, you can see that crab meat already, that white flesh. Remove the tail. Do the same with this one. You can use any variety of crab for this dish. Blue swimmer, 3 spot, mud crab, whatever your local crab is. These ones are particularly good because they're very sweet. Probably looking at about around a kilo here of raw crab. Okay, now we'll process this crab. Once I find my knife. Cut it in half first. See that beautiful flesh there? Cut it in threes. Last bit, there we go. Looks pretty good. Okay, that's all ready for the wok. These are just bird's eye chilies out of the garden. They're nice, got a nice bite. Probably 3 will be sufficient for that amount of crab, but suit yourself, hotter or keep it mild. Just roughly chop them. You don't have to be too pedantic. There we go. That should give it a bit of a bite.
In the morning we go down there and we shoot our 3 lines out, and basically you wait around for an hour from when we chuck the first one out, and then we go and do our first string, like pull that up and see what's on it. And if you got crabs, well, you put it back next to it. You might move it a couple, like a tenth of a mile or a couple of tenths of a mile. Usually the crabs are in mainly just one area, so you have to go there, you know. It might be blowing a big southerly and you've just got to punch it. You know, you've just got to get where they are. There's no point going where sort of they're not. So you just have to sort of put up with it. Well, when we're hauling the gear, we're not driving the boat at all. We just basically put our string of like the dillies, as we call them, in the winch, and we just haul the whole lot on board. So unless we've got a lot of current and a lot of weight, we don't really have to drive the boat when we're hauling. So Harry pulls them over the side and I stand back here and like untangle the crabs out of the nets.
This should get the little chaps excited.
And so we go round our free strings. We do either 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 rounds a day, depending, because we try and come in before 3 o'clock. So we're limited with time at the moment because it doesn't get daylight till 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, so we've got that, we start hauling at say 7 and we start packing up at 12.
Only 8 people on board. Only had 8 people on board. Must have just been a little one.
Has to be a big fucking boat to still be dirty. Like, that's what I did when I started shooting boats. It's a little black thing. But that's not a straight boat. You say it, and it's like 6 times the size, like 10 seconds later.
Yeah, we think it's fiberglass, it's just black. And you got all your fuel.
And you fucking everything. It's pretty fucking scary. Yeah. The goal was to be on that boat.
I've worked on, driven other boats where they just want you to catch as much. My best day is 930 kilos. But had a lot of 600, 700 kilo days. Not on this boat, no, because we don't want so much, and because it's a quota fishery as well. Like with the limited quota that Richard's got, you don't want to catch it all big heaps, and like we want to spread it out through the year, so we're earning money all year. And also, if you do end up with a big heat, then you might be stuck selling to a wholesaler, and then you're down $10 a kilo or whatever.
Show it to the camera.